Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, we are here with our lecture number 23 of the subjects Mechanics of Solids 2, and today we will be continuing our previous lectures. From last three previous lectures we are studying transformation of stresses, and in our previous lecture we did discuss that why transformation of stresses are required, and how you are going to means there are transformation of stresses, stress transformation, and there is also strain transformation, and we derived some equations of axial stresses and shear stresses on some plane theta. So today we will be studying that when all the stresses are applied due to any type of loading, that may be shear stresses, that may be bending stresses, or that may be torsional stresses, and when your element or your structure is subjected to combined loading, then you take a simple stress at a point, and then you further derive that when you are going to take the resultants of the axial stresses and shear stresses. How are you going to calculate the resultant of the axial stresses and shear stresses? We did discuss in our previous lecture. Today we will be discussing the angular effect of angular effect of the plane on the resultant vectors, that is axial stresses and shear stresses. So on which plane there will be maximum and minimum stresses, that is our today's topic. For a given state of stress at a point, we did discuss that stress at a point means if that is your beam is subjected to transverse loading and case of bending, so you may be taking that stress at a point at the lower side of the beam, at the center of the beam, or at any random point A or point B. Whatever the case might be, your element is subjected to only axial stresses and shear stresses. In case of planar element, your element will be subjected to three different type of stresses, that is two axial stresses, that is stress in x direction, axial stress in y direction, and shear stress in xy plane. Okay, for a given state of stress at a point specified by one set of components, stress x, stress y, and tau xy, we discuss now that your element can be subjected to three different type of stresses when that is a planar case. Okay, the normals and shear stresses vary with the orientation of theta. So in our initial lectures on stress transformation, we studied that theta is important to study the deformation behavior of the material. If you are ignoring theta, then you are not going to calculate the strain, that is axial strain or shear strain, and that anomaly, you will produce an anomaly. So studying theta effect on stress transformation is very essential. Failure we will see later. Okay, we will further develop failure theories on the basis of these stress transformation. Is often derived primarily on normal stresses or by shear stresses, depending on the material. This is very important, that why we are going to study stress transformation or angular effect of stress transformation, because we are going to study why material fail. So material fail on the basis of behavior of the material. If that material is failing on only due to axial loading or axial stresses, then that will be resultant axial stresses or resultant axial loading, then that will be brittle material, that will be classified as brittle material. And if your material is failing due to shearing, deformation, then that may be categorized as deformable material, and that may be categorized as ductile material. Okay, there are two basic classifications of materials: ductile material and brittle material. Ductile material fail due to shear stresses, and brittle material fail due to normal stresses. or direct stresses. Okay. If, for example, normal stresses drive failure, we will judge whether failure occurs by looking at the normal stress or different planes on different planes theta and find the plane on which normal stress is greatest. Okay. This is the relation of today's lecture with our upcoming lectures, that when you have studied the resultant normal stress and you have calculated the resultant normal stress and resultant shear stress, so they are subjected on different planes. So in future you will come up that on which plane resultant normal stress should be maximum and will be maximum, and on which plane resultant shear stress will be maximum. So against those maximum outputs you will decide the failure criteria, that if your resultant stress exceeds this amount, and that will be on some plane theta, orientation theta. Here we show how maximum normal and shear stresses are found. So we will be only calculating that how maximum normal stress and maximum shear stress are calculated. We will derive the equations. Okay, brief overview of this orientation effect. Follow this example which shows a single stress state and how the normal and shear stresses vary depending on the orientation of the plane. Okay, a stress at a point is given. Stress at a point is given, and you have calculated. You are going to calculate normal stress and shear stress at any orientation theta, and you have discussed that equations, and we have derived those equations in our previous lecture. This equation, axial stress theta is equal to 1 by 2 sigma x plus sigma y plus 1 by 2 sigma x minus sigma y cos 2 theta and plus tau xy sin 2 theta. So this tau xy is the shear stress on x plane in y direction, and these are sigma y is the axial stress on y face in y direction. So these are your nomenclatures, and x similarly you can evaluate those things. So this is your equation of resultant axial stress on some orientation theta. So with the change in orientation, your resultant normal stress value changes. Got my point? And similarly, this effect is also observed in shear stress equation, this one. You can see there are thetas in every variable, and you will also observe the effect of theta in shear stresses. So if your stress at a point values are constant and given, but with the change in orientation, your resultant normal stresses and resultant shear stresses values will change automatically. So now what we are going to do is we are going to plot those the effect of orientation on some coordinates x, y. We illustrate maximum stresses on one specific case. Okay, one specific case, one randomly specific case has been taken. Stresses, direct stresses or axial stresses in x direction is equal to minus 10 megapascal. Minus indicates compression or tension, so minus indicates compression. So your direction of the vector will be in minus. So these are the stress. Okay, stress y is 30 megapascal and tau xy is 40 megapascal. So these are the specifications of stress at a point block. So resultant axial stress at orientation theta and resultant shear stress at orientation theta, which are sinusoidal functions given by the transformation equations, are plotted versus theta. For theta is greater than 0 and less than 180. So if you plot the equation for your resultant normal stress and resultant shear stress, you will get a sinusoidal function. Okay, your function will be like sine curve, and your angle should be between 0 degree and 180 degree. These smooth curves have maxima and minima. So you know that curves do have maxima and minima, and you can derive those equations with the help of calculus, that what will be the maxima and which point there will be maxima and what will be the value of that maxima at that maxima. So very simple. And stress elements are drawn at theta is equal to 0, 22.5, 45, 67.5 degree to show general variation. So a plot has been constructed, and at different orientations these angles have been inserted in your previous resultant equations, and these also are also inserted, and a variable plot has been constructed. Okay, you can with the help of Excel you can construct at every point, and you will get a sinusoidal curve. So you should be capable enough that you are going to construct. Maybe if I do not give you an assignment on this, but you should be able to construct. You should have some column on the axial stress in x direction, axial stress in y direction, and shear stress, and you should place a formula for orientation, and you should drag that for 1 degree increase till 180 degree, and similarly you should have a column for axial stresses, resultant axial stresses and resultant shear stresses, and insert the formula and drag over all the columns, all the cells, and that formula will be pasted, and with the help of scatter plot you can plot this graph. And this graph is very essential, very informative. All right. I don't doubt your capacities. You have read them, and just review how you are going to construct the graph, and that's it. For theta is equal to 13.28 and 58.28 to show maxima shear and normal stresses. At these orientations there will be maximum shear stresses and maximum normal stresses. How we came to know that at these orientations there will be maximum shear stresses and that? By randomly constructing a sinusoidal curve at different points. You can see that this is your stresses at some orientation theta, and with the help of stress transformation at some orientation theta you have calculated those stresses. So at this point you have this stress block, and how you are going to calculate these values you have studied them in previous lecture. This one, at transformed axis what are the values? Okay, this one. And similarly you have studied for shear, this one. Okay, so these are your transformed stresses. Got my point? These are your direct stresses, direct axial stresses and shear stresses, and these are your transformed stresses at any orientation theta. So you are able to calculate these transformed stresses at orientation some theta, and theta you have put it randomly, and if you change the orientation to 22.5 you will get this transformed stresses block, and 45 degree this stress block, and you can see that this stress, okay, let's assume this one 10 megapascal. Here you can see that it has changed to 4.14 megapascal and 30 megapascal. You can see that tension has changed to compression, and here tension has extended its magnitude. And what about the shear? Shear is 44.7, 42.4, and it is reducing. So with the change in angle, your axial stresses, transformed axial stresses and transformed shear stresses values are changing. And you never know that they will change in the positive sense or they will reduce or exceed. What you have to do is you have to construct the orientation for different angles. Okay, this is your indication of transformed stresses. Anyhow, he should have written here sigma x dash and sigma y dash and tau xy dash. And these are your other angles. 0 degree if you will get this stress block. Okay, this one are given at 0 degree. He have not mentioned, but these formulations are given at 0 degree. So 0 degree, this is your original stress block, and with the change in 13.2 degree, your this one, and then 22.5, and then 45 degree, and then this one is your 58 degree. So you can see that axial stresses were 10 megapascal, 30 megapascal, then 10 megapascal, 4.4, and 30 megapascal, and then 34 megapascal and 32 megapascal. So 34 megapascal is the maximum. So you are getting this one. This one is like this one. 34 megapascal maximum axial stresses you are getting at some angle 58.28. 58.28 you are getting maximum normal stresses. So let's see this x-axis one. 10 megapascal, 10 megapascal, 10 megapascal tension for 24.1 megapascal, 50 megapascal, 54 megapascal, 52 megapascal. So stresses started reducing. Okay, and you can see that at 58.28 you are getting maximum normal stresses. Before this angle stresses were less, and after this angle stresses, direct axial stresses were less. Transformed axial stresses these are. Okay, second thing, what about shear? Let's observe 40 megapascal, 44.7 megapascal, and 42 megapascal, decreasing 20 megapascal, and no shear at all, and then 14 megapascal. So maximum is how much? Maximum is 42, 22, and 44. This is 40 megapascal at 0 degree, and this is 44 megapascal, 44.7. So maximum is 44.7 megapascal, and what is the orientation of this block? 13.28. So at 13.28 degree orientation of your transformed stresses, you are getting maximum shear stresses. Okay, whatever the case, positive or negative or clockwise or anti-clockwise, I am not interested. We are going to study maximum and minimum normal stresses and shear stresses. So you are getting maximum shear stresses at 13.28 degree and maximum axial stresses at 54.7 megapascal. So this is your statement here, that at different orientations and at theta is equal to 13.28 you are getting maximum shear stresses, and at 58.28 you are getting maximum normal stresses. Got my point? Okay. When considering the stresses acting on elemental surfaces of different orientation. Okay, different orientation means you have used the transformation equations. Simple. On this original stress block, passing through the same point, the maximum shear stress, tau max, is defined as the magnitude of the shear stress that is maximum from among all the possible surface orientations. So these are all the surface orientations, and your maximum shear stress is that on that plane on which at which orientation you will get the maximum shear stress. So you will call that maximum shear stress and maximum shear plane and maximum shear stress. When considering the stresses acting on elemental surfaces of different orientations passing through the same point, the principal stresses sigma max and sigma minimum are defined as the maximum and minimum normal stresses among all the possible surface orientations. So if you are getting maximum and normal stresses, then you will call them principal stresses. Okay, principal maximum stresses and principal stresses are normal minimum stresses and normal maximum stresses. Okay, two types of principal stresses: maximum normal stress principal stresses and minimum principal stresses. Got my point? Okay, another thing is this, that for these particular values of sigma x, sigma y and tau xy, the shear stress is maximum at plane 13.28, and you have seen it at this one 13.28. This one you are getting maximum shear stresses. This stress is referred as maximum shear stress. This stress is referred as maximum shear stress, whatever the case, if this is clockwise or anti-clockwise. This is negative shear stress. It doesn't matter. You should only consider the magnitude in maximum and minimum. Okay. This stress is referred as maximum shear stress. An element drawn in this orientation along with its stresses is called maximum shear stress element. So an element drawn in this orientation, this is your maximum shear stress element. Remember, this is your maximum shear stress element. On the element at theta is equal to 15.28, this one, the normal stresses are maximum and minimum. You can see that this one is 34.7, 54. This is maximum normal stress, and 34.7. All right. Now normal stresses are maximum and minimum. They are also termed as principal stresses. So these are maximum normal stresses. So these are also called principal stresses. An element drawn in this orientation along with its stresses is called principal stress element. So if you are showing all those stresses on an element and a specific orientation on which there are maximum stresses, or you can say that if you are showing an element on which principal stresses are shown, then you are going to call that element as principal stress element. Okay. We can find general formulas for maximum and minimum normal and shear stresses and the plane on which they act using calculus. So by taking the derivative with respect to theta, you can calculate and equating that to 0, you can calculate maximum and minimum normal stresses and shear stresses. So with the help of this, you can find the orientation on which that you will find the maximum stresses, on which plane you will have maximum stresses. The formulas and procedure for drawing the maximum shear stress and principal stresses are derived in Appendix 1-2, I2. Okay, let's move to Appendix I2. What we have there. All right, this one, derivation of equation for maximum normal and shear stresses. How we are going to find maximum and minimum, maximum normal and shear stresses. First, we are going to find the equations for finding the maximum shear stresses and maximum normal stress. Then you are going to find the plane on which maximum and maximum normal stress is applied and the plane on which maximum shear stresses are applied. As you are aware that these planes may be different. Okay, let's use some equations. Equations for maximum shear and normal stresses, maximum shear stresses and maximum normal stresses. We are interested in failure theories, and in failure theories we are interested at on which plane you will have maximum normal stresses and maximum shear stresses, which are given in section 7.4, can be derived by starting from the stress transformation formulas. So you have this stress transformation formula, sigma theta is equal to sigma resultant axial stress oriented at any theta, plane oriented at any angle theta. So these are transformation equations. So your angle has been, or element has been transformed or oriented at any angle theta. And you will have some values of this original stress block computed through classical mechanics formulas of torsion stresses, that bending stresses, shear stresses, direct stresses, stress concentration, whatever the case, and you are going to apply them in combined form. So at a point you will get three type of stresses: axial stresses and two axial stresses and one shear stress. Got my point? This is important. This is important how you are going to take these values in real type of applications. Anyhow, so this is your stress transformation equation for axial stresses, and this is your stress transformation equation for shear stresses. We set the first derivative. If we take the first derivative of shear stress with respect to theta equal to 0 to find the maximum and minimum shear stress among all the angles. So if you want to if you want to calculate, estimation is always approximate, calculate is exact. If you want to calculate the angle on which you will have maximum shear stress, then how are you going to find? By applying calculus formula, that is equation is given, you just take a derivative with respect to that angle and equate that to 0 and find the angle, orientation of the angle, and you will get the maximum shear stress plane, orientation of maximum shear stress plane. So this is your equation of shear stresses, orientation, transformed shear stresses. You just take the derivative with respect to 0, now with respect to theta, and using some derivative of cos 2 theta is 2 minus 2 sine 2 theta, and very simple, and this is your equation, and equate to 0. The equality holds if the angle has the value theta shear. So this theta, we are going to write it as theta shear or shear plane, angle of the shear plane, maximum shear plane, which satisfies. So rearranging, we get tan 2 theta s is equal to sine 2 theta divided by cos 2 theta s, and which is sigma y minus sigma. You can construct a triangle, and what it means that you can construct a triangle, and what it means that tangent to theta s is equal to perpendicular by base. Alright, or take and get the same result. Alright, take and get the same result. Alright, hypotenuse, how are you going to calculate the hypotenuse of this triangle? Is very simple, using classical Pythagorean theorem. Under root base square perpendicular square plus hypotenuse base square. So this is your resultant. Alright, and similarly the values theta s, and now you are going to place the values theta s, and now you are going to place the values of theta s in your original equation. And if you are going to place this one, that's fine, sine 2 theta or cos 2 theta. Otherwise you have to place this equation and simplify. You have cos 2 theta from this triangle curly brown. This is your base and this is your hypotenuse, and hypotenuse you have calculated this one, and sine 2 theta s is equal to some perpendicular by half hypotenuse. Going to have cos 2 theta, angle having negative values, you are going to have cos 2 theta, and angle having negative values, you are going to have cos 2 theta, and angle having negative values, you are going to have cos 2 theta, and angle having negative values, you are going to have cos 2 theta, and angle having negative values, you are going to have cos 2 theta and sine 2 theta. This one cos curly brown, this is base, and this is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is this one, and hypotenuse values, and put it in this equation, calculated like this one. This is your hypotenuse values, and put it in this equation, original equation, and you will get the minimum shear stress value. So this is your maximum, this is positive, and when you are putting values you will get the maximum shear stress at angle theta, and this is minimum shear stress. So shear stress has maximum and minimum values at this equation. Got my point? Very simple. What you have done? Simple. First you have found the orientation at which you will get the maximum shear stresses, and from that you have inserted the values of that plane in your original equation, and you have got the maximum shear stress and minimum shear stress. Alpha and sine alpha both. Okay, notice cos alpha and sine alpha both change sign if alpha increases by pi. The maximum shear stress changes sign when theta s increases by 90 degree. So maximum and minimum shear stresses are reached on the four faces of the square. Similarly, if you are going to find maximum normal stresses and minimum normal stresses, one part we have found. Procedure is simple and similar. One part we have found this, that how we are going to calculate the shear stresses, maximum shear stresses and minimum shear stress. Now we are going to take the derivative of this equation, normal stresses, transform normal stresses, and equate to 0, and then we are going to follow the same procedure, and very simple procedure. So taking the derivative, you got this one, and rearranging, you got this one. Theta principal is equal to this one divided by tangent to theta principal is equal to this one divided by tangent to theta principal is equal to this one divided by tangent to theta principal is equal to this one, and divided by tangent to theta principal is equal to this one, and by tangent to theta principal is equal to this one and is equal to this one. So you got that they are inversely proportional. The angle at which you will have maximum shear stress, on the same angle you will have minimum normal stresses. Different formulas you have put it, and variant 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 formulas you have put it, and various formulas you have put it, and very simple 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 formulas you have put it, and very simple, and simple maximum shear stresses. And other explanation is this, that difference between principal maximum shear stress and maximum normal stress is 45-degree angle. Okay, if you have shear stress, angle of shear stress, then you add 45-degree angle and you will get plane of maximum principal stresses. Okay, and if you have triangle and vice versa, okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and vice versa. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again versa. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again versa. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again versa. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again versa. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again put it. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again put in. Okay, then we are going to compute the triangle and again put in the values, and you are getting this one. So taking the derivative is equal to 0, and you are going to take this is equal to 0. Maximum, if you are going to master stress, very simple, just practice it once and twice and you will master stress. Very simple, just practice it once and twice and you will calculate the maximum principal stresses and minimum principal stresses, minimum principal stresses. How you are going to maximum average stresses and torment. And we have also found the axial. You can very easily find the maximum sigma mean. You can very easily find the maximum sigma mean plus very easily find the maximum sigma mean plus tau max, and mean the maximum sigma mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tau max and mean minus tau max. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay, mean plus tom x and mean minus tom x. Okay,